Lively walk out of here with the gold. However, they often say the spoils of victory go to the swift, and that's what Bernie Saunier is hoping for, a brand new Swift. And this veteran runoffs campaigner who's finished as high as fourth is hoping to earn that first medal, and he'd love to make it a gold. But Calvin Fish, for these guys to recognize their dreams, they may have to fight through a couple of guys who are waging a mano-a-mano battle that started last year.
Greg, you're absolutely right. Last year in the C Sports Racing category, we had a classic battle going on the racetrack. And ultimately, it was this man, Ben Beasley, who came out on top, claiming his 4th national championship. Now, what Ben has done this year, he's taken that Mazda Power, put it in the back of this Rolt RT40, and is going to go for his 5th championship, but this time in Formula Atlantic. But the man who he competed wire-to-wire against last year was this man, Jacek Muka. He's going to be doing double duty here this weekend, not only competing in Formula Atlantic, but C Sports Racer as well.
It is time for the Valvoline Runoffs, SCCA's National Championship battle, and the fastest of all the cars on the track, Formula Atlantic, are about to set sail. Hi, everybody, and welcome to a beautiful Mid-Ohio sports car course. Had some rain this morning, looking better today, this afternoon certainly, and we are ready to go racing to determine the Formula Atlantic Championship. Calvin Fish is joining me here in the booth, and is a man who knows an awful lot about this track. Cal?
Well, Greg, this is certainly a very challenging racetrack, not only for the drivers, but the setup as well. Turns 1 here and turns 11, very fast, almost wide open in a Toyota Atlantic car. And as you come down this straightaway here, we've got the chicane is a little bit different now, so it's very important to get late on the brakes there into turn 2. Onto the long back straightaways. You come through the SSA, you need to be clean and tidy, and then the real critical corner is turn 9.
All right, thanks very much, Calvin. Appreciate it. And it's going to be an awfully interesting race. Certainly going to be a very fast one. Let's meet our pit reporter, Brian Till.
Well, guys, keep your eye on the number 4 car of Tony Kazmich. He's qualified 8th, but this guy has won the last 3 Formula Z-Tech Pro races at this racetrack. He also is the Formula Continental National Champion from the year 2000. He's got a handful of national event victories underneath him. Didn't qualify well, but the car has gotten better and better each session out. John Bizignano, what do you got?
Well, Brian, as you well know, this is one of the classes in the amateur championships where a young driver, a young lion, can make a name for himself that might actually lead to a professional career. He can take a win at this particular event to any pro team and say, listen, I am capable of driving in the pro leagues. Watch these young lions trying to come through the field for the front. It could be the start of a great career.
All right, thanks very much, gentlemen. And the field rolling off, let's give you the starting lineup. And a gentleman who's come close a couple of times has found the pole position. Keith Lively is up front. Rennie Clayton, what a story, as we've talked about. A huge wreck early. That car, they've been chipping away at it. And Ben Beasley, frankly, Calvin, I think Ben may be a little surprised that he qualified that well in this very experimental car.
Well, he's done a great job making the transition over from C Sports Racer. He's won 4 championships there and has shown a lot of speed this weekend. Don't count him out for a gold medal.
Absolutely not. As we see him make their way around, Lively in the blue car, you see Clayton running absolute sticker tires. So they're on a little bit different strategy here. Oh, and we have a car that is not starting. Let's get down to Brian Till.
It's Tom Nastasi in his number 23 car. He qualified 7th. When they started the car up a little while ago to warm it up, it didn't sound quite right, and they actually had the side pods off, the bodywork. They did some work on the electrical stuff, but when they shut it down, it would not refire, and he sits on the grid with no power.
All right, thanks very much. And the gentleman you talked about on the false grid, Kazmich, the problem he was having earlier in the weekend was they had some serious ignition problems in that engine, and it just had a frequent high speed and constant miss. But obviously, they've been trying to sort that out. And if they got it right, Kazmich will be an absolute rocket from the back. He is one of the fastest drivers in the country in Formula Atlantic. Green flag coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Drive a sports car like no other. The all-new Mazda RX-8. bringing ultra-high performance from racetracks to your car. Formula Technology, Kumho.
So this Navy pilot guy says to me, have you noticed how much military technology becomes stuff we use every day? And I say, like what? Like the B-52 blender? The George Patton grill? The AK-47 bubble jet?
No, but you'll find out how military technology goes civilian on my new series.
Tactical to Practical with Hunter Ellis, Tuesday on the History Channel.
Tactical to practical. What, show titles have to rhyme now?
Don't worry, Gilbert's not in it.
Want a show car shine?
Oh yeah.
Use Meguiar's Gold Class Car Wax.
Smooth as glass.
It's the most reflective car wax Meguiar's has ever made. And that's in over 100 years.
Get ready, world.
Not only does it give you an incredible shine, it's easy to use.
Looking good.
It's the best-selling premium car wax in America.
Thank you, Meguiar's.
Smart guys finish best. Meguiar's.
Top end of about 1 second. Today's Speed Channel coverage of the 40th anniversary SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Valvoline. Valvoline, the #1 choice of top mechanics. Welcome back, everybody, and they have Nastase started up. The question is, how healthy is it going to be when he gets on the track? He, too, running sticker tires. And, Calvin, these cars on this track, so many variables. They've got the ground effects downforce, the wings for balancing the car. It's just incredible. Tell us a little bit about these cars.
Well, they're such a well-balanced race car. Great braking ability, high downforce cars, sticky tires. I mean, one of the best cars that you ever want to drive around this particular racetrack. Open wheels, certainly, high wings, and about 250 horsepower. Probably going to see top speeds down the back straightaway, depending on the wing setup, about 150 miles an hour.
All right, we're also going to have some great onboard shots, courtesy of number 41, Stephen Williams. And under sponsor, he says Williams family. So we're going to be seeing some shots from him. Meanwhile, the field, there we go. Good shot. Look at that, right under the mirror, over that left front tire as they are heading down now and onto that long back straight where they do the starts here at Mid-Ohio. Back of the pack just a little bit, so we hopefully will see some great traffic shots. And boy, the front 4 or 5 rows look good. A couple of them locking up.
Look at Largo hanging back.
Yeah, he was trying to snooker Clayton. We may get a wave off, Cal.
Yeah.
No start, and that was a great call by the starter.
Well, the problem you have, your big pack at the front there, Greg, and then guys at the back of the field screaming down there, and they're going to be a big mismatch in speed. Brian Tell.
Well, they just got Nastase's car restarted. They pulled the bodywork off the back of it in the engine compartment, and all the mechanic did was wiggle some wires around. Must be a loose connection. Well, it's refired now, and it may run out of pit lane. The question is, after he gets punished on this racetrack over the bumps and through the corners, how long will that loose connection stay connected?
Yeah, good point. As he goes out, he's fortunate because he will not go down a lap. He's going to be the better part of a lap back. But with the yellow, he's able to get out and maybe at least get to the back of the pack. And he had a pretty good qualifying effort in 7th.
Yeah, he's certainly running strong this weekend. He's on sticker tires. They're going to try and get some temperature in here. We've got pretty good conditions now. Obviously, the hurricane came through last night here, left some wet weather this morning, but nice track conditions, nice and cool. Should be ideal, really, for these type of race cars.
Let's check in one more time with John Bizignano.
Well, actually, Calvin, I got a ride around the track with an SCCA official just before the start of this race, and I could not find any wet pavement whatsoever. You got to be careful. On the grass, it's very slick. If you get a tire off there, you're going to rotate that outside tire. If you come back on, it could be an instant spin. So they've got to stay on the track, but the line on the track is perfectly dry, what I saw.
All right, and keep in mind, this lap will count as we are under essentially a full car's caution because of the wave off. The lap will count, and looking forward to getting this one underway. And obviously, our last couple of champions are not here. Mike Biancardi's not here. Larry Connor won 2 in a row, and Brian French are not here. This is as opened up as this battle has been for a long time.
And Keith Lively has certainly knocked on the door enough times. Finished 4th here last year. Runner-up finished Larry Connor here in 2001. So it's his time. But the man there, Renee Clayton, the young man in that patchwork quilt of a race car right now, having had a big crash in turn 9 earlier in the week. He's certainly a youngster looking to be hungry and get that first championship under his belt.
Obviously, the stewards asked the corner workers in the keyhole to slow the front down to let the field close up, and it worked. We are green. Lap 2 now underway.
Clayton to to the lead immediately. Bit of a lazy start for Keith Lively. He's dropped positions very quickly in the early going here.
And maybe he was trying to lay back again, but they say if it goes green, you go, no matter. And boy, Clayton just jumped on it.
And Lively's already down to third, maybe fourth by the time we get through the S's here. We see a great onboard shot here as we come down through turns 5 and 6 downhill. Going down a gear right now, probably staying the same gear once it dries out here and we get some tire temperature. Really difficult here. You get light up there over the brow in turn 8, and there he gets past on the outside.
That looked like Nastasi too. Boy, if that's the case, what a great start Nastasi had from the back.
Zober around the outside as well as he went into turn 9 as well, I believe. So yeah. Lively did not get the start he was looking for. Dropped all the way back to fourth, I believe. And there's Dan Selznick. He's done some pro racing this year in the room store car, and he's got a great team behind him. Polestar with Jim Griffith looking after the car this weekend. They had Alex Barron in here last week doing some testing, so they have a good setup underneath him.
There's a good look at Keith Lively, and boy, he really wanted to be able to stay up front and get a run for the gold. He's been close. I think one of the stories of the race is the guy in second right here. And there's Nastasi. I believe that's Nastasi. Yes, indeed. And Brian Till, you called it. That whatever it was they got to connect isn't connected anymore.
And he's not connected to the race car now. There we see Tom getting out, disconnecting the steering wheel. I'm not sure what part of the racetrack that is. Hopefully it won't cause full course yellow, and he's got it off in a safe spot. But there you see the man up front, the youngster, Rennie Clayton. They say he's fast and furious. He has a tendency to throw it off now and again, as he did on Monday, I believe it was. But he ran laps at the 1:18.2 range, and pole was a 1:19.3. So in practice, he's been a lot faster than the pole time of Keith Lively.
Well, keep in mind, this year was his first ever visit, as you see where Nastasi is, his first ever visit to Road America, and he crushed the field with just a stunning run. So he has got the gift, they say, of raw speed. You hone that a little bit with some experience in racecraft. They say he's going to be the real deal. I was going to say the guy in second, I think, is a great story. Ben Beasley, nobody can question Ben's ability. 4 CSR championships, and his running down Muka last year in the CSR class was just the stuff of legend. But this is very much a new program, a new effort, and one that is, compared to your standard Atlantic car, very much unproven, and he's flying.
He really is, up in second spot. I made a mistake earlier calling it Toyota Atlantic, come from the Pro Series, of course. We have some of those cars in the field, but we have Mazda-powered cars as well. Beasley running in second. We've got Muka, he's certainly running the Mazda car as well. So, variety of power plants, all pretty equal it seems when we look at him run down the straightaway. But there's Renee Clayton. He's got Arnie Loining power. He's made a lot of Formula 4 champions, now looking for an Atlantic champion here today.
And he's got a good one right there. And Thomas Kazman's in the pits as well.
Of all the rotten luck, damned to spend eternity pushing a boulder up a hill. Oh, it's enough to send a bloke mad. What? Hello? Oh, now I'm hearing voices.
Sisyphus, you've hit rock bottom. What you need is Red Bull, stimulation for body and mind. So, Sisyphus, feeling a little bold up?
You bet. Suddenly eternity isn't long enough. Way. Red Bull gives you wings.
Oh, Sisyphus.
Can you imagine what life would be like without the internet today? I can't. In fact, here's a website that could quite possibly change your life. It's freecreditreport.com. The fastest, easiest, most convenient way to instantly check your credit report, and it's free. Good credit is one of the most valuable assets you can have in life. Qualifying for the lowest available interest rates can save you a lot of money. So log on to freecreditreport.com. Make sure your credit report is accurate before you apply for a home loan, a car loan, or even credit cards. Log on to freecreditreport.com today to see what's in your report, who put it there, who's been looking at it, so you can make sure everything's accurate. It's that simple, and it's free. So join the millions of Americans who have already logged on to freecreditreport.com. Stay on top of your credit and change your life. Log on now. freecreditreport.com.
Rennie Clayton is the perfect example of the cooperation between SCCA teams to make everyone as fast as possible here at Mid-Ohio. Rennie, a couple days ago, only one corner on this car. What's happened since then?
We've got parts from about 4 or 5 different teams on this car, and essentially we've pretty much worked for about 48 hours straight to get it back together.
Well, I guess there's some 300 man-hours in the last 30 hours. and the car looks rough. What about your confidence in it?
I've got all the confidence in the team. You know, yesterday we got out real quick, but I've got all the confidence in the team that we're going to be able to get out there and have a good car underneath me.
You got to give him a good race after that effort.
I'm going to give it my best shot.
His best shot is a very good shot, but I'll tell you what, the look of that car is not your average pretty race car.
It really isn't. Apparently the scene of that wreck earlier in the week was like an explosion. It was like an aircraft had landed down there and had a big one. And looks like the old Benetton colours when Michael Schumacher won some races for Benetton F1 team many years ago. But let's go down to the pits with Biz.
Car number 4, Tony Kazmits, who qualified 8th, only circulated around the track twice, and there was an electrical problem. They took the back end of the car off the engine cover, and they reconnected 2 different wires that were just drifting around. So that was a very disappointing start for Tony, but right now the misfire that he came in with is gone. Hopefully they'll have him out of here in a few seconds.
Well, Tonus is really quick. He's a Formula Continental champion here. He won back in the year 2000. There's a car stop, number 2.
Richard Zorber.
He made that move earlier in the race around the outside on the first lap in turn 9, but his day looks like it's done. But
right there for the driver, or the worker, his driver's fine, but he needs to be towed in, so it's a simple matter. Doesn't have to get record in or anything like that.
I thought Kazmits would really be a factor, certainly overnight with the rain. He's dynamite in the wet, so he's got Uwe Olsen, who's engineering that car and preparing it for him, so that's a real surprise to see in pit lane. The big disappointment to that team who have won many championships over the years.
They just have not been able to sort through that electrical problem at all. But that doesn't mean we don't have some awesome battling going on out there. Going back in the pack a little bit, that's Tom Dooley in 15th. And he has got some serious company behind him in the form of Carl Antilla and Stephen Ott, 17 and 69 respectively. 08 is John Dole as well. These guys really scrapping.
Well, Stephen Ott is in fact running that new Van Diemen, that Formula Sports car, which can be changed between a couple of different categories. But Tom Dooley used to own the Antigua Sportswear Company. I'm not sure if he's still involved with that, but he resides out in Arizona. I think he's from Scottsdale, and gentleman racer, but does a great job, really has a passion for motorsports.
Right here's John Dole out of Huntington, New York. Actually a late entry to the runoffs, but he had a win in his Northeastern Division Championship chase, and he's going after him right now.
And there you see, you really have to carry a lot of speed. So your car off to the left there as they went through turn 4 there, so he got a little wide. And John Dole currently 14th, dropped back a little bit from his starting position. But then you see that car of David Vandenberg, I think it is, and what a story he is. That car is definitely different. You see the roll cage over the top. We did a story on him a couple of years ago, and that's a great battle for 12. He just drives the wheels off that thing.
Oh, he does. It is ancient. That's an old Rolf RT4, which is just one of the very first of the ground effects Atlantic chassis, and the guy that he's going after is the number 41, our camera car, Stephen Williams. But Vandenberg, he said, I'm used to sedans when I decided to go open wheel racing. He said, I put that roll cage on there just to make me feel comfortable. And he goes, I do, but he just drives that thing deep, deep in, aggressive on the throttle, really goes after it. The problem is that right now you got the number 16 of Rennie Clayton, and you may have a little bit of a wing loosening up on the back of that car. We'll be following that. Here's your top 5.
On the job site, I have to take on all the tough jobs and get them done right. So I use more than a tool. I use the RotoZip spiral saw system. Cuts plywood, cuts drywall, cuts countertops, tile, almost anything, with quick, clean cuts every time. And with the all-new features, the original RotoZip just got tougher. RotoZip, tough enough to tackle any job.
So this Navy pilot guy says to me, have you noticed how much military technology becomes stuff we use every day? And I say, like what? Like the B-52 blender? The George Patton grill? The AK-47 bubble jet?
No, but you'll find out how military technology goes civilian on my new series.
Tactical to Practical with Hunter Ellis, Tuesday on the History Channel.
Tactical to practical. What, show titles have to rhyme now?
Don't worry, Gilbert's not in it.
Denny's Meat Lover's Breakfast has it all. Sizzling bacon, savory link sausage, and a slice of honey ham. Served up with eggs, hash browns, and fluffy buttermilk pancakes. All for just $4.99. So give it a try. Denny's, a good place to sit and eat.
How to speak Australian.
Devotion. Beer. Foster's Australian for beer.
1993, Prost, Senna. Then they were champions. Today they are legends. Formula One decade. The 93 Belgian Grand Prix. Tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
This year we celebrate the 40th anniversary of SCCA's national championships, the Valvoline Runoffs, and they are underway at Mid-Ohio, the beautiful sports car course, the fastest of all classes around this undulating circuit is Formula Atlantic, and the championship chase is on. And here's the guy who's leading. He was picked to win it. People feel that would be the case. After a huge wreck in testing, it was sort of suspect, but boy, they've got that car dialed right back in, and he's opening up the margin by half a second a lap. Anyway, Cal.
But look at that rear wing there, Greg. You can see it there, and it's a little lower on the left side as we look at it head on. And, you know, I'm not sure whether that's from the earlier crash in the week or whether he has a problem there.
All right, there's number 55, once again, Tom Dooley, and he has dropped back a spot, actually a couple of spots, as he now sits back in the order. And you've got John Dole, Bernie Saunier as well in this mix, and it is a great scrap. And coming up to join them, that white car with the orange and blue trim is Bernie Saunier.
Well, he's always fast here. He's just missed out on the podium for 2 years, 2000, 2001. He had a fourth-place finish and didn't really qualify where we expected him back in 17th, but he's in the thick of the battle right now.
Ooh, and Dole, John Dole moving in out of the slipstream, trying to get by Dooley, and Dooley covers.
He's got a bit more straightaway speed. I'm not sure if he's running a little less downforce or whether his motor's just a little stronger there on the top end, but he takes the wider line through there, and now Dole goes to the outside. Great move.
That was beautiful, and that's going to end clean, and he picks the spot up. So Dole now moves into 13th. And Dooley being forced online just a little bit. Saunier closed up quite a bit.
He has, and through this corner they're going to be using third gear typically. 5-speed box in these cars, and then you see Saunier slip into the inside. I'm not sure Dooley knew he was there. You don't expect to move on the right there as you set up for turn 11, and this is almost flat out in one of these Atlantic cars. A little more difficult than turn 1, but the top speed through there is almost the same.
Bend left onto the main pit straight here. And Saunier moves over. Now you'll notice every once in a while, it looks like maybe a little smoke coming off the cars. Actually, there's a low spot on that front straight. With all the rain we had, we got a little bit of water that just continues to just puddle there. No big deal. Here's our battle for third. That's Keith Lively, the blue car on the right, and Dan Selznick, who's having a superb race here. No, that's a pass. That's Lively, got by Beasley. I thought we were looking at the battle for third, and it's in fact second and third. So Lively has in fact come alive here. Here it is.
Wow, did he stick that deep? Well, he was already around him. He'd already passed him, actually. I mean, Lively was in front at that point, and of course, earlier in the going, he was coming from a fourth place after running through turn 1. So he's making a move through the pack. Beasley tried to get him back, but Lively shut the door there. It was pretty close quarters there for a moment. Nearly turned each other around.
They had wheels interlocked. The left front on Beasley's car inside the two rights. That'll spook you a little bit. Tonis Kazmits, they have him back out. Now he's way down the order. But it'd be interesting to see if that car is healthy. This is at least an opportunity for Tonis to throw in some quick laps. Meanwhile, here comes Lively. And he's got to be thinking, not again. I'm second, and there's a guy out front that I'm really not able to run with. There's the problem for Tonis. Still does not have full power in that car.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a power issue or whether he just respected the leaders there coming through, but either way, he didn't have it at the end of the straightaway, and it'll be a big disappointment for this young man. He is super fast. He's been running in the Ford 2000 series again this year, winning races as normal, and there we see the leader. So Clayton going over the top of the crest of the hill there in turn 9, coming up to that fast left-hander, almost wide open.
We hop on board with Stephen Williams. Clayton, the fastest lap of the race by almost a second.
sports car like no other. The all-new Mazda RX-8.
Why do I get accessories at Pep Boys? Check this out. I put in a big bore stainless exhaust, aluminum wing, full body kit, carbon fiber hood, APC Euro tails, APC LED mirrors, nitrous express. They have everything to hook up my ride.
We have thousands of the latest accessories.
Available online or at more than 600 locations nationwide.
And we install everything we sell.
Pep Boys, we're car people.
The Simpsons invade England, and the mother country will never be the same.
Feels so weird flipping people off with my right hand. Ooh, I'm gonna be sore tomorrow.
The Simpsons, all new, part of a full hour this week on Fox.
Drivers in the SCCA will go through almost anything to make it through the runoffs. And Keith Lively, even though you look kind of relaxed with your leg up right now, I know you went through a lot to get here.
Well, it was quite an effort to get here. Actually, about 6 weeks ago, we had a crash in the morning warm-up at Laguna Seca, and I broke my left leg, which created two problems. One was the physical impairment, but also I didn't have enough starts to qualify for the runoffs. So we had to change our plans, come back early, run in the national race here at Mid-Ohio 4 weeks after the break, just so we could get into the big show.
Man, and this racetrack is a physical racetrack, and best of luck to you. I would say what they say in the movie business, which is break a leg, but it's probably not the thing to say to him right now.
I've wanted to do that to Brian Till for a long time.
So you're the guy that's throwing money at Keith to make that moment happen.
Speaking of throwing things, I think Brian Till has thrown a few steering wheels around this place at times, but that's another story.
That's another story, but someday a feature on that would be brilliant. Meanwhile, Keith Lively, and if you remember a couple of years ago, Larry Connor was on his way to a win in the Atlantic in this race, and a wheel started to come off the locating pegs, and Lively was the guy was coming after him in a huge hurry, and he wants it bad right now. But the guy who's up front is this gentleman, Rennie Clayton, and Brian Till is over there now.
Well, I'm here with Stan Clayton and Dave Rich. Dave, you're the crew chief. I know you guys worked all weekend long to get this car back together, but they're talking about the rear wing, and they're seeing something amiss there. Has he said anything to you?
No, he hasn't said anything yet, Brian. Yeah, we had a huge off in practice earlier this week. Really tore the car up bad. We worked all week long on it, trying to put it back together again. A lot of long hours. We think that the wing will hold together. It's a bunch of pieces that we borrowed from a bunch of different teams trying to put this car together, and hopefully it'll hold and last the race.
Man, that's an important piece, Calvin, as you're very well aware. These cars are so aerodynamic, you lose that rear wing, especially at the wrong place, right in the middle of the corner. The downforce goes away, and so does all your grip. That's a big gamble, but obviously doing a good job with that car right now.
I tell you, Brian, we've got 9 more laps to go. I'm not sure that thing is going to hang on there. We saw it happen earlier today in the C Sports Racer race. The leader there, Muka, lost his rear wing with a lap to go, and similar thing could happen here and cost him a championship. It's definitely dropping down further on the left side of the car, and it's really starting to wobble around, Greg.
And one of the bigger issues, too, is Rennie Clayton at his last lap, a 1:21.7. Lively just turned the fastest lap of the race at a 1:20.4. We're on board with Stephen Williams, and Williams had the proverbial moment here just a couple of moments ago. Check this one out.
Whoa, that's a big one. We talked about the cars getting lively there on the opening lap with cold tyres. He lost it there when his tyre temp was there. I think he was a little offline, maybe going through some lap traffic or someone coming around him. But either way, and then a little Rick Zubrin getting it back on. Lucky he didn't get in someone's way.
Watch it from the onboard.
Let's see his line here. Definitely gets light. Coming there into 7. He's too wide to the right. And then as he starts to transition back to the right-hand side there for turn 8, he loops it around and got lucky to get away with it.
Now, if we keep it rolling, let's see, because there's a moment right here. Look at the car. Boom.
Stalls it. Hopefully he got it refired and he's back underway.
He did. So he is able to continue right now, but yeesh, that was very, very close. Back on board here as he's working his way. They call this Thunder Valley. And then here's the very quick left-hander, leads you up into, I think, one of the trickiest corners in motorsports, the carousel. Clayton leads, but Lively is coming on.
So this Navy pilot guy says to me, have you noticed how much military technology becomes stuff we use every day? And I say, like what? Like the B-52 blender? The George Patton grill? The AK-47 bubble jet?
No, but you'll find out how military technology goes civilian on my new series.
Tactical to Practical with Hunter Ellis. Tuesday on the History Channel.
Tactical to practical. What, show titles have to rhyme now?
Don't worry, Gilbert's not in it.
Speed Channel presents the All-American Thanksgiving Marathon. 2 days of Hemis, Hogs, Hot Rods, and Honeys. Thursday, American Muscle Car. Friday, Michelle Smith and American Thunder. Begins next Thursday, 10 Eastern, only on Speed.
We carry thousands of clocks. So you'd think I'd have plenty of time. But I could still use more, especially when it comes to paying bills.
Now there's an American Express card that lets small businesses pay over time. The Platinum Business Credit Card. Call 1-800-NOW-OPEN to apply.
A big seller. The hands are bowling pins.
With the American Express Platinum Business Credit Card, you can carry a balance, which makes managing your cash flow a lot easier.
Did Jerry pay us yet? No. Wonderful.
Apply now. There's no annual fee and no interest for the first 9 months.
Can you believe this? A clock that barks.
You'll also get benefits no one else can match. The savings, services, and tools of the Open Network.
When bills come in, it's nice to know the clock isn't ticking.
No annual fee, no interest, and now more time to pay from American Express. Get your Platinum Business Credit Card today. Call 1-800-NOW-OPEN.
It's great getting more time without having to wind something up.
We are back, and the battle is well and truly afoot. There is Rennie Clayton, the leader. Look at that rear wing. It is canted over very, very badly. And the margin that was some 5 seconds not long ago is collapsing like the wing because Keith Lively is throwing in some brutally fast laps. He has the fastest lap of the race at a 120.3, and Clayton's last lap, a 123. There's Clayton, and watch, Lively is the blue car, and he has made the pass on the lap traffic, and he is coming after him big time. And Brian Till, you were talking a little bit earlier about Rennie Clayton's situation with the wing. Lively's aware of it, and he has got it ramped up.
Well, Kevin Heath is the crew chief for Keith Lively. Not the start that you guys wanted, I know, but he seems to be clawing his way back.
Well, we had to rebuild the car last night. Keith had a massive shunt yesterday, and in the beginning I think he was a little unsure of the car. Seemed to be getting into it, the tires are getting warm, and so it's going to get better from here onwards.
I'm sure that you guys have noticed Rennie Clayton's rear wing seems to be collapsing. Are you passing that information along to Keith?
Absolutely. You know, duct tape doesn't hold everything.
Well, they're going to use every advantage they can. One of those advantages, guys, down here is spelled Motorola.
Well, Kevin Heath, you notice the accent there. He actually used to work on a guy called Wayne Taylor, who's won sports car championships, very popular here in the States. He used to be his mechanic. But for Keith Lively, if he does get on the tail of Rennie Clayton, he needs to make it stick early. Because remember, a couple of years ago, we talked about it. We had Larry Connor, his car, ailing in the final moments, and Keith Lively didn't pounce. He was really catching him on the final lap. But I think if he gets closed, even with 2 or 3 laps to go, if there's an opening, he needs to go for it.
I thought he sounded a bit South African.
Yeah, he's not from around here, Greg.
No, not from these parts. I'll tell you, Clayton has upped the ante a little bit, though. He just turned a lap at a 120.9. Still not as fast as Lively's been lapping, but Clayton has upped it a little bit. He may have just eased off trying to keep that wing intact a little bit, but he's hurting.
Yeah, but the fact he's now running back under the 21 barrier there is really an indication that he does still have a decent race car. I mean, that wing at that angle is still going to develop downforce. Obviously, if it falls off and he loses the rear element, that's going to be a big factor. But let's see what happens here. There's Williams off the road again.
Camera car, and he's pulled off, and it looks like he's parking. Here's what happened.
Turn 1, gets out wide, hits the curb, and goes airborne, goes sailing. Whoa, look at that! Like a dune buggy.
Well, that will damage the underside of these very sensitive cars. And crosses the chicane that's not used anymore and just stops it. But he gave him some great looks while he was running.
He did. I think we saw Dario Franchitti do that here a couple of years ago in the Champ Car race, and looks pretty smooth.
He didn't get that kind of air, though.
No, I don't think he did. That was pretty impressive. That was about 45 degrees there.
All right, less than 5 laps to go in this one, so we're closing in on it. That's been a busy corner worker. Clayton's last lap, again a 120.9. And Lively Lively just now set fastest lap of the race at a 120.310.
A 3.5 second lead right now, and we've got 5 laps to go. So at this pace, he's picking up about half a second a lap. It's going to be really tight as we get down to the final laps.
Well, you have to admit, in this scenario, with the car coming apart, fearlessness is what's up.
What do you think? It's perfect. That's exactly what I want.
What?
Except bigger.
What do you mean bigger?
Something really pops the eye. Maybe rubies alternating with the sapphires. More stones. Pave diamonds all the way around.
Life's little expenses. Another good reason to keep your car around. That's why at 75,000 miles, switch to Valvoline's Max Life. Its added ingredients help prevent wear on critical parts.
Hey, this is nothing, guys. For the honeymoon? Oh.
At 75,000, time to switch to Max Life.
They seem just like us.
Have you tried not being a mutant?
But they're very different.
Hang on!
This Tuesday.
Drop the knives.
I can't. On the biggest DVD of the year.
Oh, yeah.
She's good. You have no idea.
What exactly are you, Professor of? Art. X2 on DVD this Tuesday.
Where does reality end and pure vision begin? A Pioneer plasma display can deliver more than 1 billion colors, taking high-definition television to a whole new level. Pure vision. Only from Pioneer.
How to speak Australian. Conservationist. Beer. Foster's Australian for beer.
1993, Prost, Senna. Then they were champions. Today they are legends. Formula One decade. The 93 Belgian Grand Prix. Tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
The SCCA is always looking for ways to get their members more involved with racing. One of the best ways to do that is to save money, make things more cost effective. And so they got together when they were looking for an entry into the Formula Car class. They got together with Van Diemen and came up with what they call Formula SCCA. A lot of the cost savings in this car come from the suppliers that supply the parts for it. Hoosier Tire has come up with a tire that competitors can run for 3 weekends in a row, and that saves immensely on tire bills. Mazda has produced an engine very unstressed that produces a very reliable 170 horsepower, capable of producing speeds close to 150 miles an hour. Right now it runs in the Formula Atlantic class, but once there are enough out there, it'll run in a class of its own, Formula SCCA. For $27,500, you can have one of these. The nice thing about it is you can run it as an Atlantic car one day, put the optional body panels on, and run it as a C Sports racer the next.
And that is something that SCCA and SCCA Enterprises have been very good at, and there is Steve and I. So it's not just a concept. It has been applied, and it is a real-world application, and he's going pretty good.
He really is, and Van Diemen, of course, been so successful in the junior formula over the years. I ran their cars for a number of years back in the early 80s and Ford 2000, and here you see, I think he's got a faster car coming up behind him, gives him the point by, but what value to be able to run that sort of car for under $30,000? That's amazing.
Oh, it's phenomenal, and have options as well as to what class you're going to run. Brian?
Well, the other thing that you really need to keep in mind, too, is, you know, the car is not that competitive right now in Formula Atlantic, but the thing you got to keep note of is once there are enough of these cars out there, they will run in their own class, Formula SCCA. So what you're seeing, just the fact that it can compete as well as it is right now, is pretty impressive. And when they get a bunch of them out there, the racing, man, it should be great. And like you said, Calvin, for under 30 grand, hey, sign me up.
Yeah, really, I'll take one too.
It's the battle for sixth.
That's Jacek. I mean, he came so close to a gold medal earlier today in C Sports Racer, right down the final corner, but he's having a good run here in sixth position in a good battle.
That's number 34 of Tony Lanuski.
And they let you handle that.
I heard the pause. I figured, he's going to make me fall on the sword. But they come in here, and this is a great scrap, as you said, for the sixth spot. And getting back to what Brian was saying about that SCCA Enterprises and the Formula SCCA, SCCA had this idea once before. It was called Spec Racer. And they ended up with 50-car fields and almost 1,000 of them being running around the country.
The scary part is develop the talents of Dorsey Schrader, and we're going to need another Dorsey around.
Well, and look where it took him. Oh, pretty well, actually. Rennie Clayton is coming up just about a little over 2 laps to go, and he's still out front.
So this Navy pilot guy says to me, have you noticed how much military technology becomes stuff we use every day? And I say, like what? Like the B-52 blender? The George Patton grill? The AK-47 bubble jet?
No, but you'll find out how military technology goes civilian on my new series.
Tactical to Practical with Hunter Ellis. Tuesday on the History Channel.
Tactical to practical. What? Show titles have to rhyme now?
Don't worry, Gilbert's not in it.
What Petty, Kinzer, DeFerrin, Coulthard, Gordon, Montoya, Earnhardt, and Carmichael have in common is that they all star in Wind Tunnel, The Interviews. A look back at a great season debuting at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Monday night. Be there.
We asked real mechanics what they think of the new Stanley Professional Grade Mechanics tool sets.
There's no difference in quality between these and the tools I paid a lot more money for.
I think it's a really good quality kit. These were amazing. It's just a good deal. They're excellent.
Now, for the first time ever, you don't have to be a professional mechanic to bring home true professional grade tools. Look closely and compare Stanley Pro Grade quality with the leading brand. Stanley tools are double nickel chrome plated, hot forged, and hand turned, and a longer shank for more torque and better accessibility. Even Stanley's patented Easy Latch case comes fully assembled with tools that are ready to get to work. The other brand? Don't even go there. Stanley's new mechanics tools are made better to last longer because they're built pro grade tough. Period. During this special limited time offer, log on to StanleyTools.com to receive a rebate coupon worth up to $10 for the name of the Stanley Professional Grade retailer near you. Call or go online now.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio. The Formula Atlantic National Championship chase is winding down, but Rennie Clayton is winding it up. And what I was getting to a little bit earlier is sometimes when you got a wounded car, you want a guy with experience who can nurse it along. But in this situation, you want a guy with car control who's fearless, because you've literally right now just got to throw that thing around.
Wing,
oh, it is.
Look at that wing. That is definitely getting worse as these laps wind down here, and he gets a little wide there, going through the fast right-hander at the end of the straightaway. That's a pretty fast corner. He's dirt tracking it a little bit there, up over the crest of the hill. He just needs to keep it clean because Lively is coming. He seems to have about half a second typically per lap on Renee here, and there you see he's run a little wider line. That gets you in a better track position for the entry for 9. Oh, and he spins it!
There you go, boom! Oh, and he was going after him, though. It's gone away once again for Keith Lively. Look at that. He is angry and upset, but there's no question he was pushing. He knew he had to up the ante a little bit more, and it just was too much.
He came in there, Greg. The line looked perfect, and then he must have just gone the power a little too early, and maybe the track is still damp there offline, and just turned it around, and that's an unforgiving corner there. You're going to hit the tires.
Especially when you hook across like that. Now watch it again here, Calvin.
See the car still stationary. Here comes the replay. Down into 9. Downshift is done. Back on the power, and it starts to get wide. He gets off that concrete patch, and then he's on the power and just out wide there. Little greasy still. Turns it around. Big damage to the rear end of that race car. But most importantly for Keith Lively, his hopes are over for a gold medal this year.
So all the concern about the leader's wing, and it was the sight of that leader's wing that maybe pushed Lively just a little bit too far.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting anxious. He could see that he was pulling that gap in on Renee Clayton, and his leg looks healthy now. He hopped over those tires okay, but maybe just the adrenaline is flowing. He realized he was on the verge of a national championship.
Well, I almost wonder, you were talking about the line that he ran to give himself a little bit more speed in as we watch Clayton come through. If maybe he wasn't going through there, maybe just a smidge quicker than he ever had, and just misjudged, like you said, getting on the throttle.
Well, we're saying these track conditions are perfect, but the fact of the matter is we had a heavy rain last night. The track is still what we call a little green. It doesn't have a lot of rubber down, and when you start to push on an area of the racetrack you haven't been before, you can sometimes get caught out. He was committed, he was going for it, and that's what it's all about. There's no tomorrow here at the runoffs, and he'll walk away from here disappointed, but he gave it all he had.
And Clayton now on his last lap. He's got to have that just hang on one more time. guys realize they blew it. We're going 21 laps in this. And Clayton through the keyhole. And he's...
We're not sure. I see a checkered flag. I'm not sure if they missed the leader
I
or
think
whether
they missed him because our monitor also said 20 when he came by. So, and it is the second place. Dan Selznick came up and on the last
got
lap.
around Beasley.
Yeah.
Something happened there to Beasley because he had a nice gab over Dan, but still Beasley walks away from the runoffs with another medal in his pocket. He was looking for a gold. He takes the bronze, but what a performance by Dan Selznick. That's something else coming through. That Polestar team did the work for him, put a good car underneath him, and as I mentioned earlier, Alex Barron did some testing and gave him the setup, and Dan made it happen today. That's a tremendous performance by Dan.
Yeah, one lead change in the race, obviously. 66 Lively was there for a moment, and then Clayton took it, and that was it. But the margin of victory officially was 22.1 seconds for Clayton, but that wasn't the real story. Up until the start of that last lap, that was coming down, was at about a second, and Lively was coming after him. But look at that, the exuberance. And Calvin, I mean, you've spent a lot of time in pro racing situations and behind the wheel. You've won here on the year that you won the Pro Atlantic Championship, but to have a huge shunt early and then come back and win, that's got to be a tremendous feeling, not just for you, but that means the crew was so involved, more so maybe than ever.
Well, that's what it's all about at the runoffs. I mean, these are not professional race teams. Typically, you're really having your friends, family sometimes, and certainly race teams as well, trying to pick up the pieces, put it all back together. He didn't show the speed again that he had last weekend in testing, but he had enough to put it on the front row, and then just a tremendous performance. He got the jump at the start, took off, then he had to deal with the rear wing. I'm sure he was feeling that in the race car. He didn't have the same balance in the car that he had in the early laps, but just a tremendous performance by this young man, and maybe we'll see him in the pro racing ranks. He certainly has the speeds.
Let's check in with John Bizignano.
Well, right now we have some very happy crew people down here with the winner of this race. We talked to you earlier. It was worth the work.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we worked really hard. It was a lot of long nights. We were up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and back up at 6 o'clock. But I wouldn't trade any of that for this moment right now.
Well, David Rich, congratulations. Your crew has been doing a fantastic job. Hundreds of hours in on the car.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, we were bumming parts off other teams and making stuff. And, I mean, there was times we didn't think we were going to be able to do it. Other people didn't think we were going to be able to do it. But we persevered, and we stuck by our guns, and we pulled it off.
Stan Clayton, your feelings right now?
Well, I'm just ecstatic. This is exactly what we set out to do after we got third place last year. I know Rennie wants to move on to a better formula, perhaps in Europe, and this is what he needed as a crowning touch to launch his career from here. And we're just ecstatic.
Congratulations, Brian Till.
Well, Sid Crane is the crew chief for Dan Selznick, and I know that they worked hard all weekend long, and you had to like what you saw taking place in front of you.
Yeah, Dan did a great job. Actually, the last 2 weeks, he's worked really hard. He's worked hard all year. He's only been driving for 5 years now, and so he really put it all together this year and had a great finish, drove a real consistent race today.
And the rear wing of Rennie Clayton, I know you guys had to be looking at it really close, especially after Lively went away.
Yeah, we just didn't have enough time. We kept hoping for it to loosen up a little bit more, but maybe next year.
Still a great result for these guys, and for Dan Selznick, I know he's happy. Certainly Sid Crane and the rest of this crew is.
Well, and Brian, he for only driving 5 years to be not only racing Atlantic in the runoff, but to have won his division in Southern Pacific with a couple of wins. Wow, what a great drive he put in here, no question. There is Rennie Clayton. We'll be back to talk to him when we come back.
Dear Santa, thank you for my new Honda CRF 50F. Now, when my family goes out riding, I can go too. Last weekend, I even met Ricky Carmichael. It was cool. My dad says that riding can teach me lots of things, like responsibility and how to be a good sport.
This holiday season, start your kids out right with a 4-stroke CRF from Honda. Available now at your local dealer.
I never knew learning could be this much fun.
On the job site, I have to take on all the tough jobs and get them done right. So I use more than a tool. I use the RotoZip spiral saw system. Cuts plywood, cuts drywall, cuts countertops, tile, almost anything, with quick, clean cuts every time. And with the all-new features, the original RotoZip just got tougher. RotoZip, tough enough to tackle any job.
So this Navy pilot guy says to me, have you noticed how much military technology becomes stuff we use every day? And I say, like what? Like the B-52 blender? The George Patton grill? The AK-47 bubble jet?
No, but you'll find out how military technology goes civilian on my new series.
Tactical to Practical with Hunter Ellis, Tuesday on the History Channel.
Tactical to practical. What, show titles have to rhyme now?
Don't worry, Gilbert's not in it.
The world's greatest driver in the world's toughest races against the world's most ruthless villains. Speed Racer, now on Speed Channel.
Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's gonna...
Don't miss Speed Racer, exclusively on Speed Channel. Brought to you in part by Need for Speed Underground. Own the night.
Today's Speed Channel coverage of the 40th anniversary of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Valvoline. Valvoline, the #1 choice of top mechanics. It was an interesting race, and here is your top 5. Clayton, Selznick, Beasley. What a remarkable story for the bronze. Wilcox and Jacek Muka in the top 5. Well, we said it was interesting, and Biz is going to find out just how much.
Well, I'll tell you, they came so close to disaster here. This wing only had a couple laps left in it. You can see the rest of the body work up here also with some very loose seams here. Look down here. My gosh, all that downforce coming through this hole. That had to be a heck of a situation for you, Rennie. Congratulations on a championship. I told you you had to perform after all that work, and you did it.
Absolutely, John, and I really have to thank everybody.
Here comes Dad with the medal.
We've got parts from about 4 different Atlantic teams on this car, and it has literally just been a complete overnight, week-long thrash without much sleep.
What about the drive itself?
I was just trying to push as hard as I could in the first half of the race. I felt the wing going down kind of midway through, and then the front tires started going away, so I was just kind of trying to nurse it from there. And I saw Keith Lively coming up. He was a lot quicker. So I knew it was going to be a fight right towards the end until I saw him spin off behind me.
Okay, you're looking in that rearview mirror. You see the wing getting worse and worse. You're going into corners at 130 miles an hour. What's in your head when you're doing that?
Turn the wheel and hope it stays on.
Congratulations on one of the best victories, certainly of your career.
Thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely no question. Look at the relief. Just that big sigh. I think he realized that he was very, very fortunate that he had one dedicated crew behind him and that car held together. But there is no question, Calvin, this kid can drive.
Absolutely. Tremendous performance. A lot of pressure on this young man to be leading a national championship with a wounded car, not to make a mistake with a man coming on fast. You want to push the pedal a little bit louder, but he certainly had a bit of a gap there. Who knows whether Keith Lively would have caught him, but it would certainly been tight if Keith hadn't had the crash.
Absolutely. Keith, by the way, is, we'll show you full field results in just a little bit. He ended up a very unfortunate and untelling 19th, but he did get fast lap of the race, so some consolation for him. But for a guy who's been close a couple of times and has a couple of medals, but not that shiny golden one, that's not enough, man. It hurts.
It really does. It's painful, but his leg's been in pain for the last couple of months, but Keith will come back. He realizes that he has the speed to win one of these gold medals, so hopefully we'll see him back next year, and it will happen.
Rennie's going to fire it up, and they've now given him the flag, and he'll put that helmet on and put the lap belt on, and then he will set out on one of the truly most honored of all traditions here at the Valvoline Runoffs, and that is the lap of honor as a national champion with the flag.
That's a special moment, but he is so lucky that David Hobbs isn't here, Greg, because David, with his eyesight, he normally calls the cars by colors. He'd have problems with that car today.
He would have probably been calling it Schumacher because of that Benetton-ish kind of look. And there's number 23. Well, I'll tell you, what a long day for Tom Nastasi. And as he's driving down into the pit lane here, he's probably thinking, oh, sure, it's running now.
Yeah, that's right. That is frustrating, not only for him but his crew as well. There is so much effort. They burn the midnight oil to be here, and then throughout the week, and then to have the car struggle, on the pre-grid and through the early laps. That's a tough break for that team.
Yep, perhaps one of the most fulfilling moments in a career here to win this and to win it through some adversity. But a guy who had a great drive is standing by with Brian Till.
Well, Dan Selznick certainly did have a great drive. The weather changed the whole weekend long. I know while we were here, we actually still have water in the lens of our camera, so we softened up the focus on your face a little bit. We apologize for that, but I don't think you're going to care after the drive today.
No, not at all. It was a great drive. It was a lot of fun, slippery track. The great thing was we had dry conditions as opposed to what we had this morning, so that made it a lot more easy to run. But it was a tough race, and I'm really glad to be in the position I am.
How green was the racetrack after all the rain we had?
From my perspective, real green, but there were guys who were going faster than I was, so obviously I didn't pick up the pace as good.
Well, we know you had a great race, and certainly you had some help, Keith Lively falling out in front of you, but was your crew keeping you apprised of what was happening to Rennie Clayton's rear wing?
No, I had no idea that Rennie was in trouble, and if I would have been in a position to press him, I'm sure we could have put him in a worse position, but he drove a great race, and congratulations to him.
Well, I know that you've run in a couple of pro races and stuff like this, and this silver medal has got to give you more fire. It'd be nice to see you back running some pro stuff, too.
That's the plan for next season.
Well, keep an eye on this guy. He'll be back, and it's like you said, sometimes it's better that the crew doesn't tell you things. He was running the pace he was comfortable with, guys.
Yeah, well, sometimes too much information is not necessarily a good thing. For Rennie Clayton, he had all the information he needed, the feel of the car, a look in the mirror, and that wing moving around. And I tell you, fearlessness, bravado, and obviously an awful lot of talent. Here is the full field rundown. There's Clayton, Selznick, Beasley with the bronze, then Wilcox, Muka, then Laniuski, Opperman, Koyman, Ashen Yelk, and those two teammates, by the way. And then rounding out the top 10, John Doyle, who I mentioned was a late entry in the event here. And there's Bill Goldkind having a good run, but Steve Ott, once again, running that car, and as Brian Till mentioned, not quite on the pace yet of the others, but nonetheless, still. But let's go back and show you what was unquestionably, at least certainly in this race, one of the true moments. Roller coaster ride.
You notice the accent there. Look at that. Still on the gas. That's a racer for you. On the power hard.
Well, why lift? You're either going to go slow, or you're going to brake, or you're going to get back on the track. So he parked it. He found out he had a problem, and that was the end of the day for our onboard camera. But boy, he gave us some spectacular shots. Let's head back down to the pits. Third place, the bronze medal.
Well, we're used to seeing Ben Beasley stand down here. We're used to seeing this yellow car, but I can see the wheels on this one.
Yeah, it's a formula car. The sports racers we've had a lot of success with, and we just decided to try something a little more competitive and try our hand in the Atlantic class. And for first year, we're pretty happy. You know, we lost second and third gear out there, but the cars stayed together. The Cometic gasket, Redline Oil, Hoosier, Mazda Motorsports number 47 held in there good for me.
Notice you guys had a little bit of a gear problem?
Oh, yeah. About midway on, I just could not find second and third gear, and it just killed me.
You know, that'll always hurt you down these long straightaways at Mid-Ohio. You got to get out of the corners, guys.
Yeah, need a little launch. And there is Keith Lively. Look at the leg braced up. And I'm guessing, look at that face. He's feeling it. He's upset. But fast lap, and he knows that he probably could have done it. And I don't know how much consolation that is, but you got to take it. SpeedTV.com online. All your motorsports information for Calvin Fish. For Brian Tiller, for John Bizignano, thanks for joining us here on Speed Channel. There is your Formula Atlantic National Champion.
Speed Channel presents the All-American Thanksgiving Marathon. 2 days of Hemis, Hogs, Hot Rods, and Bunnies. Thursday, American Muscle Car. Friday, Michelle Smith and American Thunder. Begins next Thursday, 10 Eastern, only on Speed.
Flashback to the SCCA runoffs 2 years ago. A moment Tom Oates would like to forget. The 2000 Touring 2 champ caught in that wreck at the start. Away went his hopes for a repeat victory. Last year, Oates was on pole in his Camaro. The Tiger was ready to earn some redemption. From the start, Tom Oates was king of the course. He built a lead that would go unchallenged all race long. The biggest battle was for second between a father and son pairing. Mark and his son, Jordan Standridge. Mark the dad had a tougher day. He spun his Boxster here. He had to fight his way back through the pack just to get to third. That was the best he'd be able to do. His son Jordan holding dad off, making a silver and bronze finish for the family. For the Tiger, Tom Oates, it was the thrill of the hunt revisited. He took home his second gold medal in 3 seasons. He will not get a chance to repeat. He's not on the field here today, which means we'll have a new Touring 2 champion. The challenge is next on Speed. Touring 2 should be quite a battle of the brands here in Mid-Ohio. Porsche, Nissan, and Chevrolet among the marques being represented. Veteran Freddie Baker has this beautiful Boxster running very quickly. He has 4 Runoffs championships to his credit. Also starting toward the front of the grid, veteran T.C. Klein. You know his name. He's had several Pro Series wins. Has yet to win, though, here in the Runoffs. Perhaps this will be his day. This beautiful Chevrolet is driven by young veteran Stan Wilson. 4 national event wins to his credit. He, too, is still searching for his first victory at the Runoffs. This could be his weekend. Johnny O'Connell is standing by with the story of one father and son pair who want to be prime contenders for a championship.
Well, Rick, when you speak about a father and son combination in racing, you got to talk about Jordan Sandridge and Mark Sandridge. Both of them on a very strong team competing together, and this year they're both running the same type of car, so they're learning from each other, learning how to set up the car, get a stronger combination. But last year, Jordan was really disrespectful and he beat Mark. And this year I think Mark wants to even the score, get back at his kid, and I'm counting on him because he's the next student of mine. So hopefully Mark Sandridge is going to have a strong run. But taking them both on is Phil Croyle. Now, Phil is the Southeast Divisional Champion this year. Very strong racer. He's been to the Runoffs 11 times. And maybe this time is going to be the magic one.
We're at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Coverage of the SCCA's Valvoline Runoffs here on Speed. It's the Touring 2 National Championship Battle. Alongside GTS star Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Brian Till, Sandy Hang will be in the paddock in the pit road area for us today. Johnny, these are fast race cars. The crowd's starting to build here. This ought to be a terrific battle.
Well, very much so, Rick. I mean, one thing we got to remember is there was a lot of rain last night and this morning. And so for these guys right now, it's a very green racetrack, different than they've been on all week. So it's going to be an interesting race.
As always, very challenging racetrack here at Mid-Ohio. About 2.3 miles. They consider it 13 turns. Johnny O'Connell, take us for a lap around.
You know, for me, it's always been a difficult track. There are a lot of challenging areas, but this year going into turn 2 right there, that's going to be a great passing area, and always at the end of the straight, turn 4. 4 through 13 really is going to be single file unless a guy makes a big mistake. Then these guys, as hungry as they are, they're going to be pouncing all over you.
And the challenge of winning a national championship at the Runoffs has everybody on the edge of their seat all weekend. Show you the lineup. Freddie Baker has the pole in that Boxster. Jordan and Mark Sandridge alongside. Stan Wilson has had a very good year in his Camaro. Philip Croyle, T.C. Klein will line up in 6th position. Klein, 3 divisions he's running in here this weekend. Brian Kelm, William Baton, Hal Brown, Mike Pettiford, a familiar name. Quinones, Joe Hermes, Dennis Aubuchon. Rest of the field, Chip Benford starts 21st with Bill Harding, Mark Bowden, Chris Evans. Austin Smith is shotgun on the field. He'll start 28th. Let's get some of the stories from pit road as the pace laps begin. First to Brian Till.
Hey, Johnny O, I got some professional advice for you. You want to do better in racing, hang around this guy, Dr. Don Mills. Why? Because you're always trying to catch your opponents napping. This is the guy that can do it for you. He's an anesthesiologist. He puts people to sleep, Johnny. You need to hang around this guy. Watch it. If the cars start falling off in front of him, the finger pointing may be back here to the 85 car. Sandy?
Right now, J.B. Stringer is the hard luck story of this class. Until this morning, he didn't even have brakes. Has brakes now. Last year, he wrecked a Porsche, 6 months of rehab, but he is back. A couple years ago, you guys may remember, he started in 20th and brought it all the way to 5th place. He may be starting right now in 27th place, but you will have to make sure watch him as he works his way up through the pack, because this car is faster than the practice times have showed, because obviously there weren't brakes earlier in the week. Hey, guys.
That's a key element, isn't it?
It really is, you know, but if you have that advantage of being an anesthesiologist, that's a good thing, too.
Touring 2 about set to begin here at the SCCA's Valvoline Runoffs. We'll be back with the start right after this.
.48 microprocessors for speed, voice recognition for ease, and satellite tracking in case of theft or emergency, or if you just want a good seafood restaurant. The technologically advanced Acura RL, whether you measure it in horsepower or gigabytes.
A man's got to take care of the things he loves, which makes Meguiar's Rich Leather Wipes a real friend. Nothing moisturizes deeper or conditions and protects leather better. Meguiar's wipes are plush and specially textured to get more nutrients to the leather, to leave it clean and rich.
Honey.
They'll make any leather look gorgeous, and that's good, because a man's got to take care of the things he loves. All of them. Meguiar's. Smart guys finish best.
Bringing ultra-high performance from racetracks to your car. Formula Technology. Kumho.
You've reached the office of
Jeff Nowicki. Jeff Nowicki.
is not available. To leave a detailed message, please press 2 now.
Today's Speed Channel coverage of the 40th anniversary SCCA National Championship Runoffs being brought to you by Valvoline. Valvoline, the #1 choice of top mechanics. Johnny O'Connell, full fendered race cars out on the course here in Mid-Ohio. Guys are not afraid to lean on one another as they do battle here.
Not at all. And I mean, in the touring category, basically what you have is pretty darn close to production-based cars. There are, things that you can be done to the suspension and wheels and stuff. But for the most part, I look at it as bolting in a roll bar and getting out there and racing. And because of that, it's a great category for guys to learn how to drive high-performance, high-horsepower cars.
And we've got some veteran teams in here. The Sandridges, certainly. Freddie Baker's got a lot of experience. Stan Wilson, several others very quick behind the wheel of these Touring 2 machines. Let's find out more from Pit Road to Brian Till.
Well, Rick, we've had all kinds of rain, and the track, though, is dried out. It should be a good racetrack to run on. But part of the playing field is not so good to run on. These guys, it is not at all uncommon to see them in the grass side by side, and that part of the playing field has been taken away because the grass is now mud. Sandy?
Well, behind the scenes this week, there's been quite a bit of controversy in this T2 class. Several protests, mostly over suspension pieces. But let's just say this racing will be tight, and that's why they've been fighting for every advantage they can have.
The advantage is pretty narrow among a lot of these cars and drivers.
It's very close, and one of the interesting things, when this field is set, it's set over several different days of qualifying. So, we've got Baker on the pole right now, but based on his last time in qualifying, he wasn't the quickest guy. You actually had Mark Sandridge, who's starting third, being quickest. And because of that and the changing conditions, really anything can happen here. I think any guy from the first 3-4 rows, all these guys have the potential to lead and win this event.
Well, Baker is on the pole in that white Boxster, the number 03. Jordan Sandridge is alongside in that red Firebird, the number 50. His dad Mark back there in the second row with Stan Wilson out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee. 28 cars set to go here in our Touring 2 battle for a national championship. We're underway at Mid-Ohio. Glad to have you with us on Speed.
And it looks like Sandridge, Jordan there got a great jump and is going to be leading down into turn 4.
It is Sandridge from the outside pole. Baker hard on the brakes in there. That's Stan Wilson in that Camaro on the outside, the yellow and white and blue machine.
And Mark, the dad, trying to go around Baker on the outside. Not a really good place to make a pass, especially this early in the race.
That's T.C. Klein in that Nissan 350, the white number 12. Contact, Baker off into the gravel.
Baker ran it in there way too deep, locked the right front, which he had done that at the end of the straightaway. And really, there's no opportunity for them to avoid that accident.
See if the pole sitter can get himself unbeached, or if he's going to be stuck for the balance of the 40 minutes or so this one will take. Well, he does get the car refired. The 03 back up on the racetrack, but he's given up an awful lot of track position here, Johnny. Take one more look at it as they come down the hill.
Yeah, you see him run in the corner right there, lock up that right front tire, and anytime you lock up that tire, your car's going to go straight, and that's what happened. You go straight, you can't turn. Bad start to the race for him. And you know what? It's very indicative of this type of event because you've got so much pressure on you. You've run your first laps through your head the night before the event. And but, man, I tell you what, that's not one thing he was planning on.
At Stan Wilson's car, the 92, he got into the back end of Baker's Boxster. Didn't do it on purpose. Baker just went across in front of him, and Wilson stood on the brakes, almost pointed the nose of the car into the ground. Wilson trying to hang on to second spot here. He's chasing the 49 car, Mark Sandridge, for second. Another Camaro to the inside. That should be the car of Philip Coyle, the 46.
You know, and that's a 98 Camaro. I mean, that car's a little bit older than some of the other cars out there, and he's really got this car flying. You know, of course, we spoke to him the other day. He's very enthusiastic about his chances here, and right now he's off to a very good start.
T.C. Klein right behind the two Camaros doing battle. 1 lap in the books. Speed strip up top shows you her running order. Here comes Klein swinging to the inside of Wilson. Is there room for all these cars?
Oh, that was a brilliant move there, the way he shoved it down there, hard and aggressive, and really that's what you've got to do in an event like this, especially when you have Jordan Sandridge out front, leading, pulling away. You've got to make those important passes.
Oh, big incident. Going to the S's, several cars involved. You've got half a dozen cars in the grass, 2 stopped in the middle of the racetrack, and they're just trying to get separated there. One of those cars is the 36, one of the Phoenix Performance cars, Chip Bedford's machine. And the Nissan, one of the Nissan 350s in the field, the 64, coming back up onto the racetrack. That's the car of Scott Culbertson from Portland, Oregon.
I think I also saw Joe Hermes in their car, number 22. And bad luck for him. I know he was very much looking forward to having a good event here. And, you know, sometimes stuff happens in front of you, and you see Joe's car battled up in the front, smashed up in the rear. That means he probably wasn't the start of it all. He just got caught up in all the mayhem.
The traffic very heavy here in Mid-Ohio. 28 full-sized race cars trying to fit into a pretty small area. Now here's the move by Klein to the inside at the end of the backstretch.
And very aggressive, perfectly done. Gives Wilson really no place to go. He's got the position right there, and then it's just a matter of controlling it, and he did a beautiful job.
T.C. Klein, just the second outing for that Nissan 350 in his stables. 46 car running in second, make it third spot for Phil Coyle. Here's the pileup. One car almost, that's Hermes, that almost went over.
Yeah, you know what? It looked like Hermes was shutting down, and I can't tell which car that was for. Maybe it was 11 right there, Brian Kelm. But, you know, Joe shut down for him and then got tagged from behind. So, you know, certainly not the way you want to start your runoffs, you know, only 2 laps gone. But, you know, these guys, this is their Indy 500.
Sure.
They think about this race all season long. And a lot of times the guys throw, you know, very aggressive Hail Mary passes, and it doesn't work out. When it doesn't work out, when you have a lot of cars behind you, it's a bad deal.
I'm amazed we didn't see a full course caution off that. The 11 car of Kelm, one of the 2 cars tangled in the middle of the racetrack. They separated. The 41, one of the cars involved, Dennis Aubuchon from Arnold, Missouri. He stopped on pit road. So heavy attrition here in the early going. 2 laps in. The Sandridges, Jordan has the lead. Mark Sandridge is second. Philip Coyle is third. They're the 2 red and white Firebirds, nose to tail. Now, if you're the dad and it's your son out front, do you let him go and get the gold medal?
Not at all. I mean, and I certainly with my kid, I'd want to pass him. And I spoke with Mark, and he's very aggressive, and he's been pushing real hard. This has been their goal all season long. These guys have been out here with these cars, testing, getting all the miles that they can, and that is a huge advantage because, you know, they've driven these cars in these types of conditions. And so I think as far as it comes to knowing how to get these Firebirds around the racetrack, these guys are definitely the best at it.
And the Sandridges essentially at their home racetrack. They are at Westfield Center, Ohio. That's their home base. So they run first and second. Coyle, Wilson, and T.C. Klein are the rest of the top 5. 3 laps are on the board in Touring 2 in Mid-Ohio. We'll be back.
Introducing the all-new rotary-powered Mazda RX-8.
Jack?
The way you feel about sports cars will never be the same.
What Petty, Kinzer, DeFerrin, Coulthard, Gordon, Montoya, Earnhardt, and Carmichael have in common is that they all star in Wind Tunnel, The Interviews. We'll look back at a great season debuting at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Monday night. Be there.
Imagine going for a home loan and you know more about your credit report than the loan officer. You get that kind of confidence when you take charge of your credit at freecreditreport.com. Log on to freecreditreport.com to learn how to get your free credit report instantly. Find out what's in your report, who put it there, who's been looking at it, so you can make sure everything is accurate. It's simple and it's free. Just imagine the feeling of confidence you'll have knowing what's in your credit report before you apply for credit. With freecreditreport.com, when you take charge of your credit, you take charge of your future too. At freecreditreport.com, you'll learn there's more to good credit than just paying your bills on time. And what you don't know can cost you. So don't wait. Join the millions of Americans who have already logged on to freecreditreport.com. Take charge of your credit at freecreditreport.com.
freecreditreport.com. There are guys in football who play both offense and defensive positions, but that's still only 2 disciplines. TC Klein has decided to run in 3 different classes at this year's runoff. TC, that seems like it's going to be a monumental feat.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what I was thinking there. I got the Honda Civic front drive car with 160 horsepower, the BMW Z4 rear drive car with 180 or so horsepower, and then this Nissan 350Z has 290 horsepower, low center of gravity, 3,100 pounds. It's quite a bit of car. The hard part for me is to keep track of the different characteristics of the car in order to do well in each one.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if he can come up with the winning playbooks to win in each one of these cars, because amazingly enough, coming into these runoffs, the one thing TC Klein does not have is an SCCA national championship.
And he's still searching, Johnny O'Connell. He's run that Honda Civic earlier here in the day. Finished 16th in showroom stock C. Right now 5th in this brand new Nissan as we return to Touring 2 action. 4 of 20 laps complete here at Mid-Ohio.
Well, and that is a beautiful race car. I spoke to some of the guys at Nissan. They're very pleased to have this car competing here. And in the hands of TC Klein, who's won in so many different areas. You know, it is to me mind-blowing that he has yet to win a national title. But again, you know, when you're running 3, 4 different cars like some of the guys do here, you really do deplete your mindset. You know, those guys that are just focusing on one category, one class with one goal, I think they've got a little easier job.
Take a look at the running order. Jordan Sandridge is your leader. His dad, Mark, in the 49, running in 2nd. Klein here in the 12, runs in 5th. Chasing Stan Wilson, who's 4th. Phil Croyle in the 46 is 3rd. There are the Sandridges, 1st and 2nd. Brian Till, the Sandridges certainly have things going the way they wanted them coming into today's event.
Absolutely they do, Rick. And I just spoke with Jeff Emmons, who's the crew chief for them, and I asked him which one he thinks is going to win. Now, he told me, and I won't I won't divulge that on air, but I said, does the dad let the son win? And the entire crew burst out laughing. No, not going to be any letting of anybody win down there. They're going to fight tooth and nail to the very end.
A little bit of age and treachery, hoping to best youthful exuberance. Right now, youthful exuberance has the upper hand. There's Dad Mark Sandridge as they make it down the pit straightaway here and through turn 1 at Mid-Ohio. The 03 car, meantime, Freddie Baker had to go to the back of the pack. He started back in 28th after going off on lap 1. He's up to 22nd spot. Sandy Hang, you're talking to his crew chief. How's Freddie say the car's working?
Mike Garriga says they've got the tires are flat spotted now. Mike, you want to explain what happened there in 9 to Fred?
The ABS malfunctioned and he locked up the brakes, flat spotted the tires, and spun off the track.
Do you think he can overcome those flat spotted tires to maybe make a little progress here?
His last lap was a 44.6. I don't think that's fast enough.
Tough luck here for Fred Baker.
To say the least.
Okay, that's his crew chief, Mike Garriga. Guys.
He's 5 seconds slower than the speed he qualified at, Johnny. ABS in a race car. Good idea?
You know what, as a guy that's, driven race cars with and without, boy, when you have it, man, you love it. And, in my mind, as long as all your competitors are dealing with the same stuff, it's no big deal.
This is the battle for 7th spot, the 39 of Alan Wolf. That is a Camaro. Right behind him, the 4 car, Robert Hines. Wolf from 10th has gained 3 spots. 5 laps of 20 complete here at Mid-Ohio. Good battle nose to tail.
Yeah, and it's just so beautiful when you see the cars like this. And remember, these aren't really light, cars like Formula cars. And you can see the body roll, and you can see the guys.
One car off. That's Jordan Sandridge, who was the leader. He's off the racetrack in the Grandma's Potato Salad Firebird. Able to refire. That leaves Dad Mark out in front.
And I'm guessing Jordan maybe succumbed to a little bit of the pressure, Dad was putting on him. I doubt Dad, one thing you would not do to your kid is stick him with a real hard aggressive move. You don't want to take your own kid out.
Especially a car you probably own.
Exactly. And so, right now Jordan's got to get his game face back on, because this race is far from over, and he can get back up, still get on the podium, especially if we get a full course caution.
Not even to halfway yet, but the 50 car back on track in 12th position. So Jordan Sandridge lost 11 spots. That, of course, was at the carousel. Looked like he just ran out of racetrack.
Yeah, it could have run in too deep. That is part of the racetrack also. You're kind of breaking.
Oh, and he's going to go around and go. He saves it.
Yeah, but he is very...
He's got a problem. He's got a problem. Maybe he's got a locked brake.
That's what that looks like. That right rear, kind of hard to tell, but he's got a serious problem there.
So Jordan Sandridge, spinning a moment ago, comes off the racetrack at the keyhole, and he's not clear of the surface, so I would think we'd have at least a yellow in that corner. And you can hear him spin the tires, trying to get, he's high-sided it on the curb.
Yeah, I mean, that was an ideal. He had, one tire running and one not, so there's probably a rear-end problem there.
So Jordan Sandridge gets the car off in the grass, the race leader probably done for the event. That leaves Dad Mark Sandridge in control of Touring 2. We'll be right back.
Oh, Father, your arm is shaking. You hit me in my chest.
Ah, my son, God moves in mysterious ways.
Your arrows move in mysterious ways too, Father. Have a Red Bull.
Kill a bull? Are you mad?
Red Bull! Liquid stimulation for your body.
You mean it will steady my hand?
And your mind.
So what you're saying is the arrow isn't flying to the apple.
Don't shoot the apple when it's on your head. Shoot the apple and then put it on your head. Brilliant!
Red Bull gives you wings.
On the job site, I have to take on all the tough jobs and get them done right. So I use more than a tool. I use the RotoZip spiral saw system. Cuts plywood, cuts drywall, cuts countertops, tile, almost anything, with quick, clean cuts every time. And with the all-new features, the original RotoZip just got tougher. RotoZip, tough enough to tackle any job.
How to speak Australian.
Oi.
Keeper.
Shall we?
Absolutely. Beer. Foster's. Australian for beer.
Denny's Meat Lovers Breakfast has it all. Sizzling bacon, savory link sausage, and a slice of honey ham. Served up with eggs, hash browns, and fluffy buttermilk pancakes. All for just $4.99. So give it a try. Denny's, a good place to sit and eat.
1993, Prost, Senna. Then they were champions. Today they are legends. Formula One decade. The 93 Belgian Grand Prix. Tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
Welcome back to the 40th anniversary SCCA Valvoline Runoffs here on Speed with Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin, Brian Tillman, Sandy Heng pit side for us this afternoon. We've seen a lot of wild action in the early going. Johnny O'Connell, these Touring 2 guys, they know that there's not a lot of speed difference in these race cars. They've got to be very aggressive to pass. That's what we've seen in several cases. The race leader, though, just had a problem coming into the final corner here.
Yeah, it's really hard to say what happened to Jordan there, but with Dad behind, okay, right now you got Mark Sandridge leading this thing. But behind him, you've got Stan Wilson, and right now they're nip and tuck when you look at lap times. So what'll be interesting is quite often in a category like this, you are going to get traffic, and if that happens, usually it's better to be the second guy, Stan Wilson. Mark's going to have the more difficult time getting through it.
This is the dad of the pair, Mark Sandridge in the 49. Started in third spot. He is up to second, and then now the leader after Jordan Sandridge went off. Let's get to Sandy Heng.
Right now I'm with Jeff Emmons, his crew chief. He finally radioed into those two bobbles. He didn't say anything. What did he say that he thinks is wrong?
He has a problem with the clutch. Not sure what that means, but it's obviously slowed him down.
Do you have any indication you had any problems this week?
No, we haven't had any problem with the clutch whatsoever.
And he doesn't want to bring it in, though.
No, he doesn't. He's going to take it to the end if he can.
Okay, that's Jeff Emmons, the crew chief.
Well, the 50 car is off the racetrack, and we'll try to get a clarification on exactly what we're looking at here. But here comes Jordan Sandridge into the corner after he'd gone off once.
Yeah, I think he's just got some sort of rear end problem there, because you look at that right rear, looks like it's dragging more than driving. And my guess would be that's what probably caused the initial problem for him. Watching him technically, he'd been doing nice down changes. He was very smooth. So I would guess that something mechanically went wrong in the rear end of that car.
They run a locker in the rear ends of these cars?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy, man. If my crew chief Dan Binks was here, he'd let you know. As far as
it almost looked like there might be some sort of axle problem.
Exactly. But right now, Dad's doing a great job, and and again, Stan Wilson is one of those guys we talked about before the race. Very smooth driver. He's had great success this year, but for that little incident at the start of the race, he also is looking very strong. So right now, both these guys really have to concentrate on being as smooth as they possibly can, and not overusing your brakes, not overusing your tires.
The 49 of Mark Sandridge continuing to lead, heading through the S's here at Mid-Ohio. Stan Wilson second in the 92. He had that early race first lap contact with pole sitter Freddie Baker. Didn't upset the car terribly. Phil Croyle in the 46, a nearly identical Camaro right there in third. T.C. Klein, one of the unique cars in the field, that Nissan 350ZX. He's up to fourth. And William Moore, Robert Hines, Alan Wolf, Mike Pettiford, Segundo Quinones, and William Ziegler, your top 10. Hines in the 4, we got to look at him earlier. He's up to 6 now. He's a former national champion in this category. And Brian Kelton, who went off in the first lap, won the title back in 2001. Watching the battle a little further back. This is again for 7th spot. There's the 39. That's Wolf in 7th. Pettiford right behind him in 8th. And then you've got Quinones and Ziegler close behind.
Really nice battle in here. Now, you heard me earlier, well, and he opened the door just a little bit. You heard me earlier talk about how really basically from turn 4 to 13 it should be single file. But you know, a guy gets 7, 8, 9 laps into the race. He's starting to get maybe a little bit fatigued. He's making these little tiny mistakes, and that's when you're going to see those passes in those areas. But primarily, if a guy's real tough, if he's very good, it's 1, 2, and 4 where guys are making passes.
This is for 3rd spot. Meantime, Croyle in that yellow 46. That's a Camaro. Klein in the white Nissan right behind him, sitting in 4th position. Klein already with the 16th here earlier in showroom stock C.
And Klein is all over Croyle here, looking really strong. And you know, this is always fun because you can see the comparison between the two cars. It looks like Croyle has a little bit more top end, but here comes TC on the inside.
Second time he's made a bonsai move like that.
Strong on the brakes, but here comes Croyle fighting back.
Uphill into the S's.
Oh, man, now come back to the inside. Oh, he didn't do it.
T.C. Klein makes the pass and gets 3rd spot. Good move by Klein.
Killer move, but I tell you, did you see how far that Z went into that corner?
Yes.
I mean, normally you make an over-braking, you know, whatever it is, you out-brake a guy into that corner. You've got to be closer than what T.C. was. That Nissan has some brakes today.
Crews watching from the pit wall halfway. Next time by, Mark Sandridge is the leader. Wilson, Klein, Croyle, and Bill Moore, your top 5. We'll be back at Mid-Ohio.
Carmichael versus Wyndham. 2-stroke versus 4-stroke. Honda versus Honda. This season, the battle for the motocross title was all about performance. And in the end, there were 2 winners. Kevin Wyndham and the CRF 450R, first of the 4-strokes, 2nd overall. And Ricky Carmichael and the Honda CR250R, back-to-back motocross champions. The battle is over. The winner is Honda.
My friends say I'm obsessed, that I spend way too much time and energy on this relationship.
I try to let my honey shine. But if I don't do things just right, there can be this spot on what we have together.
Are you one of these people? You need help. From Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean Auto Dry Car Wash. It's the revolutionary new way to wash your car. Mr. Clean Auto Dry Car Wash gives your baby an absolutely spot-free clean and shine with no need to dry. It uses a specially formulated soap that features an advanced dry rinse polymer, so rinse water sheets off your car for fast drying. Combine that with filter technology from the makers of Pure that removes from the rinse water the minerals and impurities that cause spots, and you get a clean, shiny ride completely spot-free, with no need to dry, even on windows. Mr. Clean guarantees a spot-free clean without hand drying or your money back.
Call now to get the Mr. Clean Auto Dry Car Wash before it hits stores in spring 2004. You'll get the sprayer, 2 filters, and 2 soaps for only $29.99.
Never dry your car again. Mr. Clean Auto Dry Car Wash.
Speed Channel. Check out Autofocus Monday through Thursday at 8 Eastern. 8 different shows, 4 nights a week. Autofocus, only on Speed.
Rob Hines won the championship in 1999. In 2000, he came in 2nd place, then took a couple years off to go World Challenge racing. He is back this year at the Runoffs, ready to compete. And I got to ask you, make a comparison in the level of competition for us between the World Challenge and being here at the Runoffs.
Well, I think the competition in World Challenge is probably one of the best race series in the country. At the Runoffs here, we have great competition. People come from all over the country. The best racers get invited, and they have a lot of heart getting here. So I'm really fortunate to be here, hoping to make a bid for World Challenge in the future.
And he won the Kimberly Cup a few years back for Most Improved Driver, so look out, he's not giving up.
Rob Hines, the 1999 national champion here in Touring 2. And in that 4 car, he is up to 6th position.
And doing a good job, but still, you know what? He's running a 2nd slower than what our leaders are. And in order to be competitive here, you've got to be putting qualifying laps in lap after lap after lap, what Sandridge, Wilson, and right now TC Klein are certainly doing.
All running in the 141s. Pole speed, pole time was about 139.5, so they're racing very close to what they qualify at.
Well, extremely close, and you got to consider, when they go out for qualifying and stuff, they're not running full fuel and all that kind of stuff, so they're starting a little bit heavier than they normally would. And doing a really good job. And again, I think as the race goes on, it's going to get quicker because, again, the track is getting more and more rubbered up. It's getting more and more grip. I think lap times will be continuing to come down.
Rob Hines about 10 seconds out of 5th place, running all alone as he comes down the pit straightaway here at Mid-Ohio. Back behind him, the 04, that's Mike Pettiford, who's a veteran of this sort of competition. Alan Wolf in the red number 39 Camaro. And then you see the 77 of Quinones. David Ampin is next in line in the 80. That's one of the 2 Boxsters in the field. That's another white Boxster. And then Bill Ziegler in the 95. That's actually the Boxster is Ziegler right there. That's the 95 car. So he's running in 11th spot right now. And right behind him is the 80 of David Amin. He's gotten by Amin for position. You can hear those tires squeal. Those are on very narrow rubber in this category.
Very much so, and it's really interesting because as they get on the straightaway going down to 4 here, we'll be able to see a real nice comparison between the Boxster and the Firebird, I think is what it was behind them, or a Camaro, where they are at top end, but also under braking, because remember, you get going fast, you also have to stop. And right there, it looks like the Boxster is very, very strong on the brakes.
Quinones in the black 77 up in front, running in the 9th position. Ziegler has gotten 10th away from David Amin. That's Amin with the Firebird there, the number 80. The nose kind of wrinkled up on that car. So many cars were involved in that tangle on about lap 6 going uphill into the S's that several cars have got some cosmetic damage. Stan Wilson running second, trying to close up on Mark Standridge. He's less than a second behind last time they came by start-finish, heading through the carousel back to put another lap on the board.
And he's doing a really good job because he's slowly eating away at that lead and putting more pressure on him. Now as he gets closer, okay, and the laps start to run down, he's got to start making more fakes, kind of getting Sandridge to watch his mirrors and drive, more defensively. And if he can do that, then he's going to, be able to control this race and be able to make that move.
8 laps to go, and if you're new to Mid-Ohio, they start the cars on the backstretch going down into what is turn 4 according to the track map on pit road, the main straightaway that is the pit road straightaway. That's where the tower is, and the checkered flag gets waved there. Let's bring in Brian Till.
Well, Cheryl Wilson is the voice on the radio with Stan Wilson, and I think it's a voice that he's heard plenty of times before, Cheryl. Obviously, you're his wife. Keeping track of him on the racetrack, you're giving him the splits. They seem to be getting smaller.
Yes, they are. They're getting smaller. We're catching the Sandridges.
It's like catching a big fish. Once he hooks him, can he get him in the boat?
I think so. Get him in the boat and get by him and get on down the track. That's what our plan is.
A lot of confidence in him?
Yes, I have a whole lot of confidence in him.
Well, after 11 years of marriage, she should know him just about better than anybody, guys, and she says he's going to the front.
Would you like to have your wife talk to you on the radio, Johnny, in the GTS competition?
I'm not definitely making.
Come on!
Definitely not making a comment there.
Well, it is Mark Sandridge in that red number 49 out in front. Stan Wilson from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, chasing. He's half a second back. 8 laps to go. We're at Mid-Ohio. We'll be back on Speed.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah.
Life's little expenses. Another good reason to keep your car around. That's why at 75,000 miles, switch to Valvoline's Max Life. Its added ingredients help prevent wear on critical parts.
Hello, gorgeous girl.
At 75,000, time to switch to Max Life.
Speed Channel presents the All-American Thanksgiving Marathon. 2 days of Hemis, Hogs, Hot Rods, and Bunnies. Thursday, American Muscle Car. Friday, Michelle Smith and American Thunder. Begins next Thursday, 10 Eastern, only on Speed.
Stop. This one. A couple papers, mail's in a mailbox.
Yeah. Give me the package.
They think the signs read, "No one is home."
Mom, what's going on?
Yet they missed the most important sign of all.
It's okay. It's okay. Hello? It springs. It's okay.
Brinks Home Security protected this family, and they can help protect yours, too. The Brinks Award-winning Monitoring Center provides a quick link to the proper authorities 24 hours a day. Call Brinks Home Security now and get a free 10-point home security analysis. The Brinks Standard System with keypad installed for just $99, and will install a second keypad free. That's a $125 value. You'll always feel safe at home with Brinks Home Security. Brinks Home Security, dedicated to fast response and peace of mind 24 hours a day. Call now.
With 7 laps to go, let's show you how we got to this point. Pole sitter Freddie Baker had a ABS brake problem. Cut across the racetrack, nosed it into the tire barriers. He's back out, but not nearly as quick. Big scramble a few laps later. Race leader Jordan Sandridge had problems about halfway in the 50 car. Got the car back on the racetrack, but apparently a rear axle problem as he came through the keyhole on the very same lap. The rear end locked up. He had to pull the car off the racetrack, and he was done for the afternoon. That left his dad, Mark Sandridge, in the team car. Car number 49 out in front. He's got his hands full with Tennessee and Stan Wilson.
You know, and Tennessee's Stan is doing a great job. And you saw what I was just talking about. He's kind of faking some moves in there and trying to get Mark to watch his mirror. But both of these guys are driving nice and clean. The difficult thing for Mark Sandridge right now is to totally ignore your mirrors, concentrate, nice, smooth, clean laps. Think about your lap time, and it'll be difficult for Stan to get by.
Is Mid-Ohio a track where you have to have a rhythm going to be quick?
Yeah, you know, I'm probably the wrong guy to talk to. I mean, I've been lucky enough to get a couple wins here, but man, it's a racetrack I never leave thinking I've done a good job. It's so difficult. You've got all these different off-camber corners, slight little elevation changes that make it so difficult. The big thing is for me, don't make a big mistake. As we see, you know, those two, and T.C. Klein is holding his own in third.
Klein is third, 3 seconds off the lead. That time by, Standridge had lengthened the lead to 9/10 of a second, so he added a couple of tenths to it. He's up on the wheel. Mark Sandridge, I think, knows he is 6 laps away from a national championship.
He knows, and he's being very, very quiet about it, at least on the radio. That's why his crew believes he's in the complete focus zone. He's not saying anything on the radio. Just Jeff Evans giving him his times, also giving him the split, keeping an eye on that car behind him.
Got to keep your eye on all the competitors that you think have a shot.
Well, you do, but you know, again, you know, my philosophy if I'm leading is just concentrate on my lap time, being as smooth, clean, get off the corners, but whatever I do, don't make a mistake. And right now, as long as Mark is doing that, it's going to be very difficult for Stan to get by him.
Looks as though, as we check back in on the battle for 9th and 10th, Quinones in the black 77, Ziegler in that Boxster, the 95, with the orange trim on the skirts of that car. It looks to me as though Wilson is better at the end of the backstretch, going into 4. That's where he really makes up some ground on the race leader.
He's doing a really nice job under the braking, but again, you know, you have to get off onto those corners that lead in, you know, down to 4. You got to get off too fast. You got to get off 1 fast. Always think exit. You know, so many times as a race car driver, your focus is being the last guy to the brakes, and really your focus should always be the first guy to the gas.
William Ziegler there, running in 10th position, qualified 9th. He's from Stamford, Connecticut, the Northeast region, and the New England division, or rather I should say the New England region, the Northeast division of SCCA competition. On the gas, up the right-hander, a little short straightaway here. Take a look at the car, number 39 of Alan Wolf. Wolf running in 8th position, Quinones there in 9th. And there is Ziegler in that Boxster sitting 10th. Good gap has started to develop deeper in the field. The best action, probably the action up in front right now as we watch the 85 car. Donald Mills in 12th position. Mark Bowden is 13th, right behind him in the 6 car. Mills a couple of seconds back behind David Amin, who we were watching earlier.
And when you watch these guys, if you make small little tiny comparisons to them and the guys that are driving at the front, you'll see that your guys that, you know, at the lead are hitting their apexes, using all the road. Guys middle of the pack generally aren't.
5 laps to go at Mid-Ohio. The Touring 2 National Championship up for grabs. We'll be back with more here on Speed.
Well, Mark, this kind of work ain't exactly your expertise. Why do you want in on this?
Listen, it's rare in life that you get paid to do what you love.
Yeah, but pizza delivery?
Two more like him and we're going global.
On the job site, I have to take on all the tough jobs and get them done right. So I use more than a tool. I use the RotoZip spiral saw system. Cuts plywood, cuts drywall, cuts countertops, tile, almost anything, with quick, clean cuts every time. And with the all-new features, the original RotoZip just got tougher.